It's almost like there are too many tiny little details on these sneakers for anybody to know about, but that's what we're going to try and do today, is find every single one of those little details that represent London and represent Amsterdam as we take a look at our first Air Max this week. And I say first Air Max this week because we're going to look at like 4 in total throughout this week as we lead up to that Air Max day that's coming down the line. And for that to start, we're going to do that today with the Nike Air Max 1 London and Amsterdam. This is the Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel desu mainichi upstairs no de, mainichi mite kudasai. And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news and sneaker reviews. And I do lives every morning about the coronavirus situation. If you want to check that kind of stuff out, here's a link to that down. But I don't want to do that in these videos. I want to keep these videos for the sneaker content. And today we're looking at an absolutely cracking sneaker. It's the Air Max 1 London and Amsterdam. There are 2 different sneakers in this pack. I haven't seen any more. I have done some city pack reviews before, and when I throw up these links up here, one of the things I always tell people is that they can catch that link at any time, not just the point when it's up there. You can catch it throughout the video or right at the end when other links come up. So I'm going to put up a link to that city pack right now, and if you're interested in that, check it out later on, or right now if you want to. But I have done city packs before. I did one that had 6 cities in it. It was the On Air pack last year, which was an Air Max pack, but it wasn't specifically Air Max 90 or Air Max 1. It was just all Air Max, Vapor Max, things like that in there. And then there was a 5 city pack to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Air Max 90, which this year is, and that was just specifically Air Max 90s. So I might as well chuck a link to that down right there. Check that link out at any time. And then here we are today with this Air Max 1, and it's just Amsterdam and London as far as I know, but there might be other cities in this city pack that I haven't heard of before. But let's get into it straight off the bat and talk about these guys, because it's about the detailing here. They're 2 very similar looking sneakers, and they differ slightly in their colours, of course, and ever so slightly in their materials, but basically as a silhouette, it's an Air Max 1, and there's not really much difference between the 2 sneakers, except when you look really close in at the details, and it's like, wow, that's really interesting. And that seems to be a pattern in the Air Max line right now, is to go for the subtle kind of hidden detailing on things instead of the in-your-face detailing. And today, when we look at these Air Max 1s, that's what we're going to be talking about, those little details that represent Amsterdam and represent London. But before we do that, let's look at the details that represent the design of the sneaker. And the 2 places I want to look is one on the heel. So behind me here, you'll be looking at one of the heels of one of the packs, and you'll see that that kind of heel cup is made of corduroy. And then if I flip it and have a look at the other one of these 2, I don't know which one it is, but you'll see that the corduroy is still there, but it's actually now in a different color to represent that different city. So the corduroy itself is a constant, but the color of that corduroy is different, one in a sort of pink and the other in a deeper blue. And then staying with the materials, in the case of those materials, the materials are the same, but the colors are different. But when we have a look at the midfoot on both of the sneakers, you can see that the Amsterdam, we'll put the Amsterdam one up first, and you can see the midfoot in there with that sort of rich leather in a very deep brown color. And then if you flip that over and look at the London ones now, you can see it's a light gray, but a suede. So you've got actually different materials and different colors there, whereas that corduroy before was the same material but different colors. In the midfoot section, you've got a different material and different colors. And as far as construction goes, that's the 2 main points that we want to look at in the silhouette and in the actual physical kind of makeup of the sneaker. But then when we get into the actual detailing, that's where my interest goes really wild on these guys. And I'm going to start with the London ones. I'm going to start with my favorite feature right off the bat. And it's my favorite feature because I didn't notice it. I love it when I look at a sneaker and I research these sneakers before I sit down and talk to you guys about them. I'm not just sort of, spitballing for 10 minutes. I'm actually talking about stuff I've researched and looked at on these guys. And I love it when I do that and I dig into a sneaker and I find things that I didn't see at first glance. That's when I'm actually looking into it and I find something and I'm like, wow, that's a really cool feature. I didn't notice that there. And on the London ones, it's this. It's the tongue with LDN on there. there instead of the Nike branding. I think that's seriously cool. Didn't notice it, and I absolutely love it. I'm like, yes, that's a really, really cool detail on these guys. But there are 3 more details on the London ones to look at that represent London. One of them I'm absolutely sure about, and the other 2 I'm not entirely sure about. And maybe in the comments down below you can tell me what you think. Now, the one I'm sure about is if we flip it around and have a look at the heel, you can see the Nike branding on there, but also a sort of funny shaped line that runs through that. Now, anybody who grew up in the UK in the 80s and 90s, straight off the bat would know what that funny shaped line is because of a TV show called EastEnders. And hopefully what I can do is I can put a picture of the EastEnders title screen behind me here, and running through the centre of that is that same squiggly line, and it's the Thames River that runs through the middle of London, and that's represented on these guys on the heel in that embroidered branding. Very cool, like it very much. But then if we go forward in the sneaker, there's 2 places where there's branding and I'm not sure what it represents, but I have an opinion. Number 1 is there's a little sort of circle, just a very simple circle round about the quarter line on the lateral side. And I think that represents this, the London Eye, which is a famous landmark in London. London Eye, I think, is that circle there, but I might be wrong. And then the other one is this, if you know what that is, it's called the Shard, which is a famous building in London. And I think this represents that kind of spike that you see on the around about is it the quarter line on the sneaker as well? I think it's maybe on the lateral side. I can't remember which side it's on, but that spike there, I think, represents the Shard. So in terms of London, 3 really fire pieces of detailing to go with that tongue branding on there. You've got the Thames on the back, you've got the circle, I think, represents the London Eye, and then you've got that spike which looks like the Shard. The Amsterdams are no less cool. I was really surprised to dig into them and find a couple of features on there. This, boing, is the inspiration behind it all, which is the coat of arms for Amsterdam, and specifically those 3 sort of X's in the middle there play a prominent feature in the Amsterdam sneaker. Now, the thing I really like about those 3 X's is that you can see them kind of on maybe the quarter line or the toe box, kind of the line between the 2 on the lateral side of I think it's the left sneaker, but when you look at the lateral side of the right sneaker in the same place, it's got a swoosh instead. So instead of having the 3 X's on both lateral sides, they've only got it on one and a swoosh on the other. But then if you cross diagonally across to the tongue, on the shoe that has the 3 X's, it has a regular tongue, but on the shoe that has the small swoosh on the sort of toe box area, it has the 3 X's. So instead of having the 3 X's both on, I think it's the left foot, instead they have the 3 X's on the toe box of the left foot, and then if you go across to the right foot's tongue, you've got the 3 X's there. I think that's cool, and I really dig it when they mix it up like that, and they don't just churn out the shoes to be identical. I like it when there's a couple of differences between the left and the right shoes. And then the final thing, I hope I haven't missed anything out for those people from Amsterdam or London, but I think the final thing is on the back of the Amsterdam ones, you've got this very funky looking design here, and I had no idea what that was until I read up on it, and it says that what that is a map of the canals in Amsterdam. And I'm like, really? My image of Amsterdam, never been there, never researched it or anything like that. My image of Amsterdam was just sort of random canals that just went throughout the city. So then when I saw this, I was like, really? And then I Googled it, feel free to Google it. I Googled it and had a look. It's the Amsterdam canal map, and bang, exactly the same thing there. So hopefully you can see a canal map behind me here now. And then if we flip back to that heel, you can see how clearly represented that is in the design of these shoes. So I had no idea that the canals in Amsterdam were this structured, and they kind of almost like a sort of grid city, like the grid lines of a city. If you think of American cities, especially being designed in that grid formation, they have that structured approach to them, and I thought they were much more random and much just sort of like rivers spread out throughout the city. But it's a concentrated thing, and it's represented on these Air Max 1s at the heel, and it's absolutely cool. And I think that's everything there is that I wanted to mention about these, but they are seriously cool sneakers. I like both of them very much, and I like the subtleness of the detailing on there, that people in the know will know, people who don't know will still like them, and then they'll find out about them and they'll be like, oh, I didn't realize that. So it's like you're getting a present with lots of little presents on the inside, or one of those Russian dolls that you open it up and there's another doll. It's like that with these stickers. I think they're absolutely fire. I like them very much, and it's a great way to start my week when we're going to be looking at Air Maxes quite a lot. So I'm happy to do that for you guys today. Hope you appreciate that kind of content. I hope you yourself knew about some of these features and can hit me up with a comment down below to let me know what you think of these guys, and if I've missed out any of the detailing on there that maybe you know about at home and I don't know right now. What I'm going to do right now, though, is I'm going to throw up one last link, which is to a playlist full of the rarest shoes in the world in hand. And the reason I put that up is because if you click on it, it brings up all the other links that I've put up throughout this video, and then you can either choose to go see the rarest shoes in the world or choose one of the other videos. So I'll do that right now. Doing. And that's the last thing I'll do before signing off and thanking you guys for checking out my content. But because I do this every single day, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.